Hello there.
Welcome back. This is episode 9 of Jedi Knights. I'm your moderator, Christian Buckley, joined by special guest Jack Martin.
Hello there.
Hello, General Kenobi. Mike Connor's returning again.
Thanks for having me.
Happy to have you back as always.
Yeah.
And Pat Maroney's on the mixer.
Good to be back.
Of course. This week, Mandalorian, our review got broken out. So that is available on YouTube and podcast services. That was posted Monday. So check that out if you want our review of episode 2 of Mandalorian. Today, though, is a special day because we have, for the first time in a long time, a brand new Star Wars video game.
Oh, yeah.
That's a third-person game made by EA with no problems that plagued other EA games from Star Wars. There are definite problems, I'd say, but no, like, microtransactions, no forced multiplayer, just a good old single-player climbing around game.
We haven't had a good, like, single-player Star Wars game in a very long time.
Yeah.
We took a lot of L's with Star Wars recently with video games.
For
1313 got canceled. Amy Hennig's game, the creator of Uncharted's game, got canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a Darth Maul game?
There was.
Supposed to be a Darth Maul game, I think, before Disney bought Star Wars.
But there was, like, they were pretty far into that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's footage that exists of it, similar with Battlefront 3 that we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been missing solid Star Wars action games, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the best way I could describe Jedi Fallen Order is that it's a modern take on an action game with Star Wars. I'd say my biggest worry with the game was that it was just going to be Force Unleashed made in 2019. And I guess you could make an argument there of like Force Unleashed at the time was doing the action game that was popular with like comparing it to God of War 3, 2. Now the popular action game is Souls-like.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys played Souls games before?
No.
I've played like probably 2 hours of Bloodborne.
Okay. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I'm not good at them by any stretch, but I think it's a very tight, solid way to make combat for a game. I think, Mike, I was talking to you earlier on the show about Sekiro, which came out earlier this year.
I've heard this game I've heard it compared to Sekiro a lot. I've never played Sekiro, though.
There is a parry, there is a standard attack with one weapon, it's a katana, and playing that game, I was like, dear Lord, if they made a Star Wars game that played like this. And they did.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they seriously did.
So, do you guys want to just establish where we are in the game so far?
Sure. I platinumed the game. I
This is Monday, by the way, folks.
Yeah, I 100%ed the game. Literally, that's all I did this weekend.
Yeah.
So, I'm completely done.
Nice. I'm about, like, 18 hours into it, probably, like, in terms of the story, maybe, like, I have 3 hours-ish left.
Okay. I am about 3 hours in at the moment. I got through the beginning set piece, the first main planet. I think I'm out of the space of tutorials. So I'm like exploring my first legit, here's a planet, go moment. So we're not going to be too spoilery if you're concerned about that. You don't have to worry really. Maybe like a couple moments, you know, because we're talking about new characters in this beloved universe. So there's going to be some sort of ground to cover.
I guess just be wary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I like Cal.
You like Cal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Cal, too. I've been seeing online people disliking Cal. I don't know.
Cal, I like because he's more reserved and introverted than the typical Jedi. When I was playing it, he kind of reminded me of Ezra Bridger from Star Wars Rebels in a way.
Okay.
He's not really this main focal point. He's just kind of moving the story along. But I like him. I like his interactions with BD-1 as well.
Yeah, that's where I kind of stand. Like, I think he's likable. And as far as introducing the state of the galaxy at this point, you know, like Jedi are on the run, he's far less reluctant than I thought he was going to be only a couple hours in. Like, I thought he was going to be like, oh, no, I've been living this life for so long that that's behind me. I can't come back. But he's like, oh, so we're doing this? Okay.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like totally down to just do Jedi stuff.
Yeah, and I like that because he committed to be a Jedi as, like, what? How old are Padawans? Like, or younglings? Like 8, 9?
Something like that.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so he was in that life, and I mean, I'd expect someone who committed that young to be like, no, sure, I was ready to give my life for the galaxy. I'll immediately go back in, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not be like, oh, I can't. I'm going to die. It's like, that's why you signed up.
Yeah, I think it was like Order 66 was such a tragedy though.
Mm-hmm.
That the Jedi that did survive, which are very few and far between, were kind of like, all right, well, we lost, and if we try anything, we will be slaughtered.
For sure. Do we know, you might know this, how far after Order 66 is this game?
I don't know in terms of years, but like you'll understand. You'll understand like when you play through the game.
Yeah. I'm sure they divulged that, but I have seen a flashback so far of Cal,
Okay.
and he looked like a youngling, you know?
Did you see that in your game?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what I didn't want to spoil that. Like I don't
Yeah.
know if you got into that. So you do get those,
Mhm.
and like that's how you can kind of tell. Like, oh, he's like maybe 10 in that.
Yeah, so maybe 10 years?
How old do you think he is, just like in the regular story, though?
It's like
20s?
early 20s.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I'm
It's
getting?
probably like our age.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
How you guys think he'd do in this situation?
Not well.
No, he's like he starts off as like a scrapper, right? Or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Yeah. This game is beautiful. There's so much detail put into like every
Mhm.
planet that they go to.
What platforms are you guys playing it on?
Ooh. Good. Okay. I wanted to get
Yes.
into this. So I'm playing this on a base PS4.
Okay.
My recommendation, if you can, do not play it on a base PS4.
Interesting.
This game, I mean, I like the game overall. I have some huge negatives with it.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a game released for the PS4 like this from a huge AAA publisher with so many in a single player game with so many hiccups and
Yeah.
slowdowns, and I'd be running through an area of the game and a door would open to the next section. It would be all white, and you'd have the Jedi logo in the bottom right hand corner loading the game
Mm-hmm.
and see everything pop in.
Okay.
I think for the base PS4, I think overall, honestly, because I've heard issues with the game on all platforms, this could have been in development for another like few months.
Yeah, that's the sentiment I've seen too. I'm playing on a PS4 Pro,
Mm-hmm.
and I turned off motion blur because I thought that would maybe smooth out the frame rate, and I opted in for the Pro usually gives you an option of like, do you want to favor resolution or performance? I was playing for a little bit. I was like, it looked like it might be losing a couple frames, so I turned on 1080 and try to get it as close to whatever the locked is at this game. I don't know if it's 30 or 60, but it didn't help a ton. And I tried turning off motion blur. That kind of helped, but I still have like chromatic aberration and whatever the third graphical setting is
Yeah.
on. Mike, you're playing on an Xbox.
No, I'm playing on PC.
Oh, you're playing on PC. Okay.
Yeah, I've had no problems.
Of
that
course.
you guys
Okay,
have.
Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, we get
except for like the very random like frame rate drops during
Mhm.
very intensive cutscenes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That happens every once in a while. But other than that, like I haven't had the problem that you had, Jack.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I had. I don't know if you want to like continue like doing negatives first, but I had like severe, especially weirdly on Bagano, which is like the first.
it. Yeah, I noticed like that was where I spent most of my time so far.
Yeah,
That was rough.
I had some points where it would be probably like 10 frames a second, and it was really bad.
I don't think I ever got to 10, but like I noticed.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not good at like telling. I don't have fraps running because it's a
Sure.
PlayStation, but like
Yeah.
it was really bad.
Mhm.
And for a 2019 game, for a single player game too,
Yeah.
oof, it was pretty rough. But for the most part, like it did affect my experience of the game, but I did come out from it positively.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how I fare for the rest of the way
Mhm.
on a Pro. I might turn off those extra settings and see if that helps it at all. It doesn't make the game unplayable for me, but I do notice it, you know?
Yeah,
And that being said, I agree with you, Mike. Game is really good looking.
Yeah.
Like, if I stop moving for a bit, gorgeous.
You let
It-
everything load.
Yeah.
No, if I just like sit there and like look at it as like just a still picture, which kind of surprised this game doesn't have a photo mode
oh yeah,
because it looks really good.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's true.
it is a beautiful game.
The
There would
faces,
have been some moments where I would want to take some photos.
good faces.
Yeah, except for the I mean
Seer?
you'll get there, but the Wookiees
Oh yeah,
oh,
those
the Wookiees are
are
horrible.
awful in this game.
Yo, Cal's hair. I don't know
Oh,
if you
yeah.
noticed.
Amazing.
Like, what's going on with that? Or the hair of who's the pilot of the?
Grease.
Yeah,
Grease, yeah.
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, those textures.
Good
man.
hair tech.
Yeah.
Speaking of Grease and the crew so far, I don't know if the crew grows at all, but strong sense of camaraderie that I expect from my favorite Star Wars things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And right out the gate, we have it. So I'm a fan of that. Grease, Sear, BD1, Cal, solid crew.
This is a take. I don't know if you all agree with me. BD1, best droid in Star Wars.
Best.
Yeah, big time. And the reason why I think that is because you, as a player, have that first-hand interaction with him,
Sure.
where you obviously can't with the movies.
Mhm.
He helps you in certain situations. He's cute, and I like him.
You also learn new things with him too.
Mm-hmm.
As you progress through the story, he gets better stuff.
Yeah, you can upgrade him.
Yeah.
I love that you can scan things in this game.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
an obsession for me.
That's
so
cool.
so fun. I would spend hours doing that if there's. I know there's probably only maybe 50 things to scan probably in the entire game, but double that, please. I just love scanning stuff and reading little write-ups about the lore and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
An issue I have, oddly, and I don't know why this game does this, but you know how you find audio logs in games and you pick them up and they automatically play?
Yeah.
If you find specific audio logs in this through BD1, it'll play the first sentence. And you have to hit options and play again to
that's
listen to
weird.
the full thing. I have no clue why they do that, and it's so annoying because I'd love to just continue on with the game
While you're listening.
while I'm listening to it. It's really annoying.
Once you activate it though, can you just keep exploring?
No.
You have to, stay
You
on
have
the
to
page.
be in the menu and read it and listen to it.
Cool thing about that though, when Cal does his Force Echo thing,
Mhm.
the further away you stray from the Force Echo, the quieter the sound becomes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I didn't
it's
notice
super
that.
cool. And also going back to Cal as a character, I love that Force power. I think
Yeah,
that
I was
is
just
such
gonna
a
say
cool
that.
Force power.
I think Respawn did a really good job as far as game design goes for making the powers of a Jedi work in a video game.
Mm-hmm.
I clearly do not have any of that skill tree filled in yet. I have a couple beginning nodes, but so far the Force Echo thing, great concept, really cool. And as far as the freezing time goes, big fan of that too.
Yeah.
It's some Kylo Ren stuff.
I know,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
I really like that. And it makes you feel so far powerful as a Jedi without, again, going too far into the Force Unleashed camp where it's I can do whatever with whatever's in this room and find a way to kill people with it. It's manageable. You feel like you're still not a complete Jedi, but you still feel that power.
That's what I liked about it, is that the combat and everything about Cal is, you can tell that he's inexperienced, and you feel that in yourself playing the game, where I think personally it's a pretty challenging game.
Oh yeah,
What difficulty are you guys playing on?
Jedi Knight, which I believe is the second one.
Me too.
I'm playing it on Jedi Master, which is the third.
The third one, yeah.
Wait. I'm on Jedi Master. I thought
Yeah.
you meant second to hardest.
It's weird.
No, sorry, second from the top.
Okay.
There's a story difficulty, then Knight Master, and then
Grandmaster.
Grandmaster.
Yeah.
I'm on Master.
too.
That beginning sequence on the train when you're learning your combat.
Mm-hmm.
Not trying to flex, but like I said, I have a history with playing the Souls games. So
Yeah.
I'm playing this like I would Bloodborne, or Sekiro, more apt, I guess. But I thought about cranking it up even that early because
To Grandmaster?
yeah.
Oh.
But the visual hint they give you about how hard it's going to be with those bars,
Yeah.
not a good metric.
You don't think so?
No, because it goes from on Jedi Master, all of them on the same halfway through,
Right.
and then all of a sudden for the top one, I think it's parry timing, just goes all the way to a 16th of the bar. So it's what does that mean?
I do think that's a cool metric in the game, when you're figuring out what difficulty you can
Yeah, I
choose.
mean as a representation of it
Right.
for getting a sense
Yeah.
instead of just flipping around difficulties every 2 minutes.
The reason I chose Jedi Knight is because it was the first one that popped up.
Sure.
I usually play games on normal, but
Yeah,
I
it
have heard a
depends.
lot of people kind of recommend that you play it on the Jedi Master.
Yeah, because while I am drawing comparisons to Souls, nowhere near as hard as Souls
No.
or Unforgiving.
I don't
Yeah.
think it can be. It's a Star Wars game. It has
Yeah,
to be
it has to
accessible.
be pretty accessible.
Yeah. And I don't think it's. I think my issue with the Battlefront games is that it's not that they were too accessible, is that they weren't as in depth as I wanted a game to be. And I think this game like definitely subverts that and is much more in depth, and it's more gamey, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
That skill tree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. It has like the Far Cry skill tree
Mm-hmm.
or the Ubisoft skill tree.
Yeah, 3 different paths, right?
yeah.
Force, saber, and
then just like Cal himself, like
Yeah.
his
Oh, like your
abilities.
stamina and stuff.
and health abilities and stuff like that. Yeah.
What color lightsaber are you guys rocking right now?
I don't know if I want to say.
Why don't you want to say? Because it's a little spoiler territory.
Maybe.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel like like
Do you want me to say?
at that point,
I mean, I know what you're talking about.
if
so.
the color is a spoiler, I feel like that's
Okay.
indicative of like what color it is.
No.
Really?
no,
No.
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 So it's not red.
No.
Oh, okay. So
No, they said that Respawn has said you can't.
Ooh, I did
can't-
not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Respawn has publicly said that you can't because you're a Jedi in this game. You cannot play.
Sure.
There's just like you have different colors at the beginning of the game,
Mhm.
and then at a certain point in the story you go to.
You get more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I noticed, I messed around a little bit with the lightsaber customization.
Mm-hmm.
I saw like 8 slots for the kyber crystal. I didn't even know there were that many colors.
There are.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So do you want us to say, or do you want to just learn that?
Are you guys rocking the same one right now?
I don't know.
I don't know what you're not gonna.
Yeah. No. I honestly.
Do you think yours is a spoiler?
No, mine's definitely not.
Okay, then
spoiler.
shoot.
Yeah.
I mean, I've actually been just rocking the blue lightsaber, to be honest. with you.
Straight up like.
Straight up blue lightsaber, because I just think I don't know. I just wanted to that because it doesn't change with the cutscenes and stuff like that.
It does.
Yeah, so I just kind of want that imagery like through my first playthrough of
Sure.
just like
Right.
classic like Jedi versus Sith sort of
Um,
thing. But I have taken upon myself to whip out the green kyber crystal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So, did you pre-order, or
Uh-huh.
did either of you pre-order?
No.
Yeah.
It comes with the pre-order comes with an orange blade.
Mhm.
I messed around with it a little bit. I didn't really.
Wasn't a fan.
Yeah, I mean, I went through blue for most of the way, and then do you want me to say the color that I'm rocking? I can hold off if that's fine.
I'll ask you off air.
Okay, you can ask me off
Okay.
air. But for me, I won't even get into it. But I think it is specifically with the lightsaber and the ponchos and the outfits and BD1 and all that. It was customization that I wasn't anticipating for the game,
Mhm.
and I think it's very rewarding,
Okay.
especially with collectibles, because all the collectibles you find in this game are stuff like specifically stuff in the boxes are stuff that you can use personally
Mm-hmm.
for yourself or for your crew. So I thought that was definitely cool, and I didn't even know that you'd be able to like customize your lightsaber. That is dope.
I
I-
found out about that recently,
Mm-hmm.
but like maybe a week or two ago, and I'm glad that's in there because while I'm with you, it's really cool imagery seeing the blue and red clashing because that's just like classic Star Wars.
Yeah, that's why I did it. So
I feel like there's a little bit too much of an over reliance on blue lightsabers in the recent takes on Star Wars.
Mhm.
Like
I agree. Yeah.
I really like when they get kind of crazy, not too crazy, you know, but like a good green. The second
Yeah.
I saw it could be green, I'm like, I'm going green until like I don't want to.
I went green for a while. Yeah.
Green's my favorite lightsaber color. Like if I had a lightsaber, I'd want it to be green. But
Mhm.
I just chose blue. So
I'm green or purple. I don't know which one if I ever get my way down to Galaxy's Edge, I don't know which one I'm going.
Oh yeah.
But
true.
green fits Cal for me so far.
Nice.
Do you guys want to talk a little bit more about the introduction, like the junkyard? Because that's
So cool, dude. I did not know we were gonna get a lot of like. I mean, it makes sense, but we really were into the deconstruction of the prequel era,
yeah.
and I thought that was so cool. Literally,
Yeah.
like destroying the past and making way for a new, darker future. I thought that was so cool.
on the ground with like all of the broken up battle droids and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
And the
So-
very Star Wars like in canon band playing
yes.
on
Yeah.
his headphones.
Yeah,
Very
that was a cool touch. I liked that entire area because it was very new,
cool. Mm-hmm.
and I always appreciate when Star Wars does something that's like, here's a new thing that you never even thought of in this universe, but look how cool it looks.
Plus, it was a rainy planet.
Yeah, you know how much I love rain in Star
in
Wars.
Star Wars,
Love
dude,
the rain
yeah.
in Star Wars.
Honestly, I was gonna bring this up. There was a moment. Remember how I explained to you that like the escape in Bespin is like close to what I picture when I hear Star Wars music.
Mm-hmm.
This got even closer. That point when Cal was walking up to whatever that thing was, and he like leaned on his knee, and it was raining. He was just like looking. This might have just been like a idol for me since I was getting close to the barrier. But like he leaned on his knee, looked out over the horizon, watched the ship get torn apart. There was rain and wind. incredible.
Yeah.
You're like sold.
Yeah.
You see the giant droid thing like come down.
The Trade Federation ship.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
I
man.
know, and there's a lot of cool like
Big payday on that one.
yeah.
Yeah, that was
There's
cool.
a lot of cool nods and references in this game. There's one I want to talk about. I don't know. It's something like so every time you get in the ship,
Oh,
Grease and Seer will say something and talk about something random.
yeah.
They mention one character that I did not anticipate them mentioning in this game at all.
Is it Max Rebo?
No, it's so as a,
Salacious Crumb.
do you want me to say it?
Yeah.
So as they're talking, Grease is like, yeah, like I heard, some Jedi escaped. Like I heard there was this one that was like this, this powerful green Jedi, like this small green Jedi, and Seer's like, oh, you mean Master Yoda? And Grease is like, no, Master Yaddle. She's got.
Oh
like,
no
what?
way!
They're
really?
planting the seeds.
There's a Yaddle reference in this game. That's dope.
That's awesome. I always wondered if she survived.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I don't know if it has anything to do with her surviving. He's just like, what happened to her?
Did
Oh,
she
well,
survive
still.
so she could mother her child?
Maybe.
Oh my God, it's all connected.
They
It's
released
all
in the same week.
connected.
That's all I'm saying.
It's all
That's
connected.
true.
I thought you were going somewhere else.
Did someone say Max Rebo in this game?
No,
Oh.
I don't know yet. But very early on, after Bogdo,
Bagana.
thank you. I was thinking of Ogdo Bogdo, that frog.
Oh, did you guys fight that your first?
I tried to.
Oh, I ran past that.
I stood in the doorway and just whacked it.
See, I tried, but I was doing it with the Souls approach. I was doing lots of rolls. That thing got me.
They should do a better job of telling you that you should come back to that because they really don't.
I mean, I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, similar to Souls, why I like that is like
That's fair.
if you get your ass beat, it's like not ready. I'll come back when it's good.
Yeah.
I think I lost like an experience point from that fight because I had one stocked up that I didn't use yet.
Oh yeah.
But you can always go back and just hit it once and you get everything back.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very generous.
Yeah.
But yeah, after you get through that initial temple, which isn't really a temple if it's just like an atrium with a hologram in it.
Yeah.
I was expecting some Tomb Raider thing.
The one on Bogano.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a little underwhelming.
That's true.
Yeah, you get into more Tomb Raider stuff later.
Oh
It's
yeah,
a
I'm excited
big
for that.
time.
Yeah.
Big time.
Excited for that. But yeah, after that entire sequence, you go back on the ship and she's talking about Seeger's talking about holocrons. One, my mind always goes to Sith when I hear holocron. I was not too familiar that Jedi holocron were things.
Mhm.
Two, Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That was a taken directly from Rebels, I believe.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I will say this game rewards you for watching all of Clone Wars and Rebels. Which
Really?
is something I've done. Sort of. Like
Okay.
a little bit. There's maybe a planet that's from one of those. There's maybe like a species of creature. We've already
Oh.
The
seen
Inquisitors, just in general.
the Inquisitors. We've seen Jarrow. Is it
Jero Karis,
no, it's
his master.
his master. He is a
Zed, right? From
Zeb.
Zeb.
Zeb. Yeah, he's a
I
what is
haven't
it?
watched the shows yet.
I forget the character's name. Or the species name.
Oh, Zabrak.
Is that what it
No.
is?
No, that's the
Darth
Dathomir.
Maul.
That's the Dathomir
Yeah.
race.
Well, Zeb was originally supposed to be Chewbacca, right?
I think so.
That species.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did notice that.
Something with a Z. I'm pretty
It's
sure.
like an S or a Z. I'll look
We
it
could
up.
fact check this.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he showed up in that first flashback, it was like, one, oh, so your master isn't anybody that we've known, and two, I recognize purple elf looking guy
Mm-hmm.
from Rebels.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah,
was a cool touch.
I like that. Like,
Yeah.
it really. I think this game really respects all sort of eras, aside from the sequels because we haven't gone there, obviously,
Sure.
Yeah.
of Star Wars.
Mhm.
Like, if you watch the Clone Wars and Rebels, you will be rewarded for that.
That's exciting.
If you like the prequels, you'll definitely be rewarded for that.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, the sequels. This is a good tie-in to just kind of all of them,
yeah, sure.
or the originals.
Yeah, so seeing them flesh out the universe like this,
Lasat.
Lasat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, seeing them flesh out the universe in this way, I like. Just the way that everybody kind of talks about the Jedi at the beginning. It's interesting. Prof, he's a fun guy. Oh, she didn't die
Oh, that guy.
so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, rip.
I thought when he stepped up out of line, he's gonna be like, "I'm the Jedi."
I thought so too.
Yeah.
That would have been so funny. And then like
No, you're
she's
not.
like, "Prove it." And then like Cal behind his back is like using the Force and like, "No, don't look at me. I'm just." Look at him. He's moving his hands around.
It's like, whose line is it anyways?
Yeah.
And like someone puts their hands behind someone.
Yeah. Probably didn't fit that scene, but I would have loved that.
Yeah.
How do you guys fare against the second sister the first time you fought her? Get a few hits in?
Yeah, like a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to say, like, this game to me, and maybe it's just because I'm playing it on like the hard, like in air quotes, difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard.
I've died a few times already. Like, again, haven't played a ton, but I've died maybe 4 or 5 times.
See, there are like I don't really have much experience with this. I never played like Dark Souls or Sekiro or anything like that. So to me, like, it's very, very challenging. There's one particular boss fight that I'm not going to really like say on air, but I had to do that, like, no kidding, like 100 times.
Oh my God.
Like, I was just like back and forth just respawning because there was like a meditation point like right there.
Did you ever lower the difficulty?
Nope.
Wow.
I don't want
Real
to do that.
gamers.
Yeah. I even as the Jedi Knight difficulty, I found it very challenging.
Yeah.
Even still. I don't have a lot of experience with those games.
Mm-hmm.
I like the combat. I think it's rewarding in some aspects. I kind of wish it was a little bit more looser, like Arkham City. It's very like, it is very sort of
weighty.
Yeah, exactly. And
It's
you're
funny
locked
'cause
onto one character
Yeah.
at a time.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to focus on one, maybe shift to another. But with Batman, you can go 1, 2, kind of going around in a circle.
It's funny because I love that it's very it's like weighty, and because I guess in my head, whenever I've seen the films, like lightsabers, I know it's made of light, but I feel like they should have some weight to them, you know?
It's supposed to be like a broadsword.
Yeah. So I'm glad it has the feeling it does. I did remap attack and parry.
I did that for a bit. Parry as left trigger. Did you do?
I did L1 R1 because that's what Sekiro was.
Oh, okay.
So I was used to that.
Yeah. I did that. I liked how they have that feature,
Mm-hmm.
and then I went back. I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, this is how it's supposed to be, so I might as
Yeah.
well just keep it.
Like if I didn't do it from the get go, would have messed my entire brain up.
Exactly.
So,
I don't know. I find the combat to be very satisfying.
yeah, me too. Yeah.
And maybe that's just because like it's so hard.
Sure.
And like
It is hard.
once you actually finish something, you're like, wow,
Yeah.
I feel like a Jedi right now.
Yeah.
I love deflecting blaster bolts back to stormtroopers.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
That's the coolest part.
There's a skill that you can get, and this is not a spoiler, but there's a skill you can get that as you're sprinting, he automatically deflects
Oh, that's fun.
blaster bolts. So
That's cool.
that's cool.
That is dope.
Yeah, I really appreciate too. We talked about this a couple episodes ago. How with the different difficulties, the enemies just don't become able to take more hits.
Mhm.
It's the parrying window that we talked about. So I appreciate that. If I got a real good swing in on a stormtrooper, they're dead. That feels nice.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I'm not like upset that dismemberment isn't a constant thing, you know.
I don't think they nail the lightsaber in this because of that.
Okay.
So in a world where the Leviathan axe from God of War exists,
Oh, sure.
it's hard to sort of make an impactful weapon if you can't really go all the way with it.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish they could.
Okay.
I don't know if that like would have given this game an M rating, especially if there's no blood
Yeah.
because it cauterizes the wound. If they did it in like a smart way with human characters, I think they could have avoided the M rating.
They couldn't-
and it would have been awesome.
Maybe they could have just like kept it exactly the same, but like any finishing blow, like depending on where you hit them, like
That's
they just
usually-
cut open.
That's how God of War worked. Like if you got the right amount of hits in, you would go into like a chop through your shoulder to chest.
Yeah.
But it was like a nymph or something, like a
Yeah.
wood creature that did not have blood or any gooey thing.
Right.
I did see, I don't know who this quote is from, but I saw somebody talking about why dismemberment wasn't a thing. I guess like Lucas wanted to reserve dismemberment for like important moments in the films.
Mm.
So
Okay.
making them just be willy-nilly all over the place would
Yeah,
lessen it.
But it's a video game.
Sure, but what I
It's
appreciate...
also a lightsaber too, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like what I appreciate about the game though is that It doesn't feel too gamey, where, again, my problem with Force Unleashed was the fact that it was just so ridiculous.
You're like super OP in
Yeah,
that game, yeah.
which in canon, since Star Wars is all about the canon, especially now, didn't feel like it fit,
Right.
And this, I think, gets a nice balance of feeling like Star Wars, feeling like you're on this adventure, but still being a satisfying game to play.
I think one of my bigger issues with this, and this is probably like the last issue I have that I've talked about, is it has elements that come from other games like God of War,
Oh, definitely.
and Bloodborne and all that, and Uncharted definitely. But I don't think it nails any one particular aspect of those. Specifically, I really hated the climbing and the traversal in this game.
Okay.
I think there's some very poor level design.
Interesting, because
like
I feel the exact opposite.
Really, I think there's some awful level design in this game where
I'm early also.
yeah.
So.
So there would be points where I'm like, oh, I need to go here, and the game is like kind of signposting me that way, but it's like wrong. I wasn't supposed to go there.
Okay.
And there are, I think someone on a podcast I was listening to, I think Tim Geddes maybe, was saying that he was sort of punished for exploring, and I kind of felt that at some points.
In what way do you think?
So there are points in the game where you try to climb on something, and it doesn't work, or you try to grab a like a rope that's hanging and you try to swing, and the game does not handle that very well. Like it like locks on in like an odd way,
Okay.
where it's not supposed to be locked onto.
Mhm.
And there's also these like ice slides that I don't know if you've gotten to those yet.
I've had like the mudslide and the place from the shipyard.
Yeah, so it's similar to that.
Yeah, okay.
And it's just awful. There's like curves that you have to go around, and I fell off like 100 times for sure.
Mike, what do you think about this?
Honestly, I kind of liked the platforming aspect
Yeah.
of this game. I just found like sometimes maybe the map design or the level design is a little too like much of a labyrinth for me,
Mhm.
because I found myself like getting very confused as to where I was, even with the map.
Okay.
Also, the map is really hard to like navigate around.
Yeah, I
It takes a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
haven't really had to rely on the map much yet, but even just like sorting through it and trying to like get a sense,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem super helpful.
Right.
But I do, like, so much of my time so far was spent on that first planet, and even in my time on Dathomir so far, which Dathomir's in this game. I don't know if we talked about that. That's
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is cool.
I like that there's several different paths. There are some that you can like just not go down yet because you're not ready, but you can still try to, and you can see like try to get a sense of like, okay, I can kind of see like what I need to get over there, and I'm sure whatever is in that chest over there is going to be worth it.
Yeah.
When I do come back, and I like that there's those kinds of nuggets rewarding you, like incentivizing you to return to places.
Right.
Why do you have to give Cal like an input to climb things?
I hate that.
Yeah,
that's the
that's
worst.
a weird thing.
It tripped me up, and it still trips me up like all
Yeah.
the time.
So I was listening to a podcast where people were talking about this, and some people thought you had to hold L2 the whole time or
That's
whatever.
what I thought.
You don't.
Okay.
You jump and you hit it once. You shouldn't have to,
No,
No, you
have to.
shouldn't.
but you do.
Because-
There was one part in this game where I was trying to swing from a rope to a point where you grab onto it, and I know you were supposed to do that. Like I know you were supposed to do
Yeah.
that, and I did it 100 times. Not really. I did it like probably like 10 times, and I would fall, and it would take me like another like a minute or two to get back up there.
Oh yeah, that's
It was,
annoying.
and then finally, like I did the same thing for like the 11th time, and I finally got it. I was like, that was awful. I can't believe that is a thing. Like that, I think that's one of the things that shows you like this game could have been really spectacular if it had a couple more months of development time.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it kind of gets a little bit easier as you play the game too, because he starts to like reconnect with the Force, and you get more abilities,
Right.
which makes it a little easier.
That does too, yeah.
I have noticed that the game isn't super, and I appreciate this because like it is kind of annoying in like a Horizon or Uncharted or Last of Us where it's like, oh, you want to climb? Go to the yellow thing.
Yeah.
You know, ludonarrative dissonance is that term right there. I think there's a trophy called that for Last of Us or something like that.
Oh, is there?
I think so. There's some game that like calls attention to it.
That's funny.
But there have been a few instances where I'm like, this looks like a grate I can climb. I jump to it, I hit L2, and I just don't.
Yeah. There's some developers that like do it really well. I think Naughty Dog does it well, where
Mhm.
like if you are looking to explore in a way, there's like a little light maybe over here down this path, and maybe you can go check it out and find a reward or something.
Yeah.
Everything kind of looks the same in this, like things you're supposed to climb and regular things in the world. Eventually you'll learn like, oh, so vines or like vines with like flowers on the wall, I know I can climb on this
Yeah.
planet, or like grates I can climb in any imperial sort of settlement.
Mhm.
Or like walls with lines on
Because-
it. I
yeah.
can run on those.
Yeah, but even that, like there are some walls that look like you can,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, I guess I can't.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. There's been a few instances, like I said, with the grate I thought I could jump on, and like the walls for sure. I think wall running is fun to do when I know what I'm doing, you know? Like, I think the first place to introduce it to you, there's that mudslide at the end of that room. And I know that you can probably climb up there if you wall run and you jump, like, specifically on time.
Yeah.
I tried, like, 6 times. I didn't time it well enough, and, like, I got maybe 4 feet from the top and just slid right down. But, yeah.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You will be able to do that.
Yeah,
eventually.
I figured you
Yeah.
could upgrade it or something.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, outside of that, like I've enjoyed it so far. Do you guys think that since this is Star Wars and we've had conversations about like things need to be canon, things need to work, do you think that that ideology is holding the game back at all, or do you think that it works well with the restrictions it has with the IP?
I like how it really doesn't mess with the canon.
Mm-hmm.
It's respectful with it, and it takes place in a point in time where we really haven't seen that very often, aside from Solo and Rogue One. But Rogue One is essentially Episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I kind of like how it is in the canon, and it has to respect that and has to be restrained within that. And I
Mhm.
don't think it really hinders the game story-wise.
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of talking about it before the podcast, Jack and I, but it's a nice little like vignette of like somebody else in
Mhm.
the universe and
Yeah.
their story,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of, like Jack said, it doesn't mess with what is established.
Yeah. I appreciate it because I know so many people want to get away from the areas we've explored in Star Wars so far, but between 3 and 4, or 3 and Rogue One even, like, that's still what, like 20 years?
Yeah, I think it's 19.
Yeah, there's a lot
1920.
you could like dig from that, you know?
Yeah.
And I think what we've seen so far, especially with the junkyard and with the ship, the planets we're kind of familiar with, and exploring them in this time period, like there's a lot that's interesting as far as making the transition from Solo to Rogue One, I guess, that time period, you
Yeah.
know? So I like that about it.
Definitely.
So you're done with it.
Yep.
You're almost done with it.
Pretty close.
Overall, how are we feeling about, like, is this a game of the year contender for you personally? Do you think it's gonna get awards? Well, because I have seen the sentiment that like could have used like 4 to 6 more months
Yeah.
to iron out all these problems.
So I didn't play. It's funny. The only 2 new games that I played this year were both Respawn games: Apex Legends and Star Wars.
Yeah,
Jedi
shout out to
Fallen Order.
Respawn. We haven't really talked about them much. They make good video games.
They're doing it to
Sure
him this
do,
year.
Titanfall 2.
Yeah, that's one of your favorites, right?
Titanfall 2, hot take, best first-person shooter of all time.
Hopefully that'll be a free PS Plus game one day.
It's so good, man. That campaign. Have you played Titanfall 2?
I've never played Titanfall.
Well, let me tell you.
Yeah, I've only played Apex. So.
Well, yeah, like Apex, a lot of Titanfall's blood lives
Yeah.
in Apex,
Yeah.
which is great. I like Apex a lot, but would love to see them make a third game.
So this is, I would say, is like a
One last thing.
Yeah.
And BD1 makes so much sense for being this lovable droid because Titanfall 2, BT-0174, I think is his name. Great guy.
Of course.
Yes.
Great guy. He's like a buddy cop. He's the straight man, and you're also a straight man because it's like I'm a soldier.
Yeah.
But like they have a really great back and forth, which I can already see them flexing those muscles for writing robots in BD1.
I miss first person like Call of Duty like shooter campaigns. So I'd probably appreciate Titanfall.
Titanfall 2 is good. It's a good platinum too.
Go
Go ahead. What were you saying?
You know me and my platinums. I think this is like a soft game of the year for me because I've only really played 2. So this is like kind of I love the game. I really do. I think it's a really good start. This is a really good Arkham Asylum for this
Sure.
trilogy of,
Okay.
or whatever.
Yeah.
I think the next game is really gonna nail it.
The Uncharted 2.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
Assassin's Creed 2.
Definitely. Like
Yeah.
this is like a really good. I don't want to say experiment, but it is kind of an experiment where what worked, what didn't.
Yeah.
Go into the sequel. We're really gonna like hit it home. Fix all the like technical issues that it had. Yeah, definitely. I think it's an awesome game.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I would also say like I don't play enough video games for me to like have a game of the year,
Mhm.
but it's definitely something that I enjoy a lot. It's definitely something I'm going to keep playing even after I beat it. And with its technical problems, I think it still deserves like a lot of praise because it's quite an achievement.
It is, yeah.
It's really well done and it's very, very fun.
Best Star Wars game? Question mark.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it might be.
it's definitely up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's worth, like what you said, Mike, it's worth acknowledging that because they had an uphill battle with this game just because of the EA name
Right.
and the history of Star Wars with EA so far. Small nitpick, I hate that they put the EA logo on the title.
Oh, I honestly didn't even notice that.
It just feels pretentious.
Yeah.
Wait,
It's
I
like
don't
who
even
do
know what you're talking
you know how
about.
like when Marvel is like Marvel's this,
Mhm.
that makes
EA's,
sense.
Yeah.
This is like Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order, EA. It's like no.
I will say this
Those
is
are
probably
weird.
like
No.
the best EA game in like, I don't know,
Over
half
Apex?
a decade. I mean,
For you personally.
me personally, but like the Respawn games for sure.
Yeah.
But as for a story, I played Mirror's Edge Catalyst recently.
Mhm.
Not even close to the sort of storytelling that this game gets into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
As of right now, it's good to hear what you guys are saying about this game. It makes me feel confident about me enjoying it for the rest of it.
Mhm.
I was going into this game expecting me to walk away from it the same way I walked away from Spider-Man last year, of like really good, you know? Like they nailed like what they were going for, they really did a good job doing that. And so far, bugs aside and hearing what you guys have to say about hindsight for the game, I feel like that's how I'm going to end up feeling.
that's funny you mentioned that because that's exactly how I feel.
Interesting.
After finishing the game, I was like, this game didn't flex too much to prove anything. It
Mhm.
did exactly what it needed to. It didn't exceed expectations, but it met them exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the perfect thing for Star Wars to have done with the video game, because I don't think it has nailed that since EA bought the license to Star Wars.
Mike, I know you liked the campaign a lot for Battlefront 2.
Yes, I did.
As far as your enjoyment as a Star Wars story, do you think you can compare the two? Like, where do you land?
Well, I mean, I haven't finished.
Sure,
I haven't
yeah.
finished Fallen Order yet,
Mhm.
so this is kind of without me knowing what happens at the end.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they're kind of different, honestly.
Yeah.
Like this story with Fallen Order, like it kind of follows Cal in a way. Like he is sort of like your lens to what happens in this game, and that's a much different character than like Iden Versio.
Right.
And also the Battlefront 2 campaign much shorter.
Oh, yeah. It's like 6 hours, right?
Yeah, and it's like obviously much more on rails than
Mhm.
like this one is. So, I like both of them because I just think that the Battlefront 2 campaign is a cool story,
Mm-hmm.
and I always like playing as the Imperials. But yeah,
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's that's one I still have to play.
Yeah.
But as far as visuals go, Battlefront 2, beautiful game.
oh yeah,
I think clearly because with Fallen Order, what they're going for is that single player saber combat. Lightsaber combat in this game, leagues better than it is in Battlefront, in my opinion.
oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's like the
Yeah,
crux
that's
of
this
this
thing's
game.
game, yeah.
Yeah.
This game's thing. But yeah, I guess final question on my mind. Do you guys think that the success of this game, critically at least, I'm assuming sales wise, because we don't have numbers on that yet, we'll probably get them around December
Yeah.
with NPDs.
Metacritic first, like reviews wise, I think it's like 82 or 84 right now.
It was 84 day of. It might have
Okay.
gone down a couple, so low 80s.
Yeah.
What's average for a game on Metacritic? I don't really know.
80s.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know, but
really?
like
Okay.
compared to I think where they were coming from with Battlefront 1 and 2, this is like a godsend, I think,
I think generally
critically.
it's pretty positive. Aside from, I think universally people have issues with the
Performance.
technical
Yeah.
performance of this game.
So do you think that the success of this game, because I think we can call it a success based on the early impressions,
Yeah.
do we think that this is going to shift the direction of EA Star Wars games in the future? Do you think this is going to impact what they prioritize? Is next up Battlefront 3? Are we not going to get some other Star Wars single-player thing?
How much longer does EA have the license for? Wasn't it like 10 years when they bought it?
I thought it was a 10-year deal.
So they got it in... Was it
Battlefront 1 was 2014, I think.
So is it 2014 to 2024?
Battlefront probably took like I think Battlefront was announced in 2013.
Okay.
So let's say 2012 to 2022
All right.
based
So
on nothing.
They have like 1 or 2 more games then.
Maybe,
If
yeah.
you think about it.
Yeah.
Like big games. Obviously they have like phone games or whatever. Maybe unless they rebuy the license. But I hope it does. And I hope it shows EA more broadly that this is kind of what people want from a game.
Yeah.
They don't want to choose what to buy to make their game like more enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this game kind of proves that. And I hope they take lessons from that.
Yeah, I hope they continue in this vein.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I just from coming off like first impressions, it seems like it's very well received.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
So I feel like they would be stupid not to.
Yeah, and I hope it proves financially viable for them, you know, at least by whatever metric they wanted to measure this game of succeeding that way, because I would love to see an EA-wide initiative for more games like this.
I hope so.
Obviously, when they announce Battlefront 3, I'll be excited for that, you know? Like,
Yeah.
as long as they take the lessons they've learned, and I'm assuming they would because the Battlefront 2 content rollout still, they're supporting that game, like, very well, and it's all free. So, positive mindset in the future for Star Wars for EA. I hope that they see how beneficial it can be to focus on something like this.
Also, shout out to the independence they gave Respawn. They let them use the
Yeah.
Unreal Engine, and they didn't use the Frostbite. Thank
Mhm.
God. I think that is kind of old at this point.
So, pulling back the curtain on the industry a little bit, I guess Vince Zampella, who's head honcho at Respawn, has like weight in EA as a whole now. So the fact that they were able to be like, no, we're not doing Frostbite,
Yeah.
is all thanks to him. So shout out to Vince Zampella.
He like created Call of Duty, right? Essentially.
I think so.
With
Yeah.
Infinity Award.
Yeah.
So he's got pull.
Any closing thoughts from the two of you about this game, your experience with it, hopes for a sequel?
Like I said, I really enjoyed it. I think a lot of the experience was somewhat hindered by the technical performance of the game. I feel like it shouldn't be my fault that I own an inferior console to run the game.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
That's an industry-wide problem this generation, I think.
Yeah, that's a different topic for a different discussion. But overall, I really enjoyed it, and I think, like I said, it's a really good base for them to build on going forward.
Very nice. Mike, what about you?
Yeah, I basically agree with everything that you just said, Jack. Not to be just like like put the stamp of approval on that,
Yeah.
but yeah, I also very much enjoyed this game.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the same technical problems as you did, Jack, but yeah, I'd like to see more stuff like this.
I know you watched more Rebels than you did Clone Wars, right?
Yeah, I've watched all of Rebels. I
Right,
haven't
okay.
watched all of Clone Wars.
Would you be excited? Would you hope that with Cal's character, if he does continue in this series, would you hope that they move on to like more of the Rebels era next, or like maybe have some more interplay with familiar themes or places or characters from Rebels?
I mean, I would like to see some sort of integration in that sense because I know that this takes place before
Mm-hmm.
like the events of Rebels.
Yeah.
I also, like I said, I don't know how the story ends.
Right, yeah.
So like it's possible. That's all I know. Like that can't happen. but
Sure.
Make an Ahsoka game, you cowards.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Let's put Ahsoka in Fallen Order too.
I think there's a rumor she's coming to Battlefront.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I love Ahsoka.
Is she gonna
She's
have
one of my favorites.
the white lightsabers?
Maybe. I
Hell
don't
yeah,
know.
dude.
So, if that wraps it up, that's an episode.
Oh yeah.
I guess for my impressions in the future, Chana, probably I'll do a recap.
Are you gonna platinum this?
I might.
For those that don't know, platinum trophy, getting all the trophies on PlayStation.
Yeah, sure.
I would say it's comparable to Spider-Man's platinum.
See, that's what I was expecting, and I kind of want to.
Yeah,
So
it's fairly like what I found was that I did most of the trophies kind of naturally.
Mm-hmm.
It's collectible base. I looked at some of the miscellaneous, and I just kind of, it's really easy in this game because you can respawn enemy spawns, so I just kind of farmed that way, but it's pretty easy.
Yeah, it's definitely something I've had in mind because I was looking at it the same way I did Spider-Man. So.
Yeah.
But I guess before we officially close, Pat,
Yes.
You don't play many video games,
Not really, no.
but Jedi Fallen Order,
Yes.
what's the hype level? What's the interest?
It's definitely there,
Mm-hmm.
to say the least. I haven't played this game yet. I don't have a console with
Mhm.
me here in the college setting.
Yeah.
I don't know why I went so in depth explaining that. But yeah, I'm definitely like heavily interested in it
Mm-hmm.
because I've always been a big fan of like sort of fantasy universe, third person action games.
Yeah.
Like I'm a huge fan of the Arkham trilogy.
Hell
Love
yeah.
Spider-Man PS4. I feel
Mhm.
like this game slides right in with that like sort of
Definitely.
genre.
Yeah. I think it's a fair comparison. So do you think you're going to try to get to it within the year?
within the year. Yeah,
Yeah.
easily.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna wait for it to drop down to like 32, but yeah.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if it drops pretty fast, knowing how EA games usually drop. So
You think so?
yeah, you could probably get a sweet deal on it close to Christmas.
Word. And also, I love Battlefront 2's story mode.
Yeah, I know you're a big fan of it too.
Yeah, I got that game for like $16,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I hope that by the time you get it, Pat, I hope they add some patches to like sort of fix the game, because you might be playing like a better version of the game come Christmas.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
And I also hope they add a new game plus, because they don't have one.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, because no DLC, right?
As
Far as we know.
I am not sure. I
Yeah.
don't know if they've announced that or not.
So
Kind of hope that they don't.
yeah, that is kind of making me second guess on like how far in depth I want to go so far. Because
Mhm.
like if they are gonna patch it within the month, I still gotta finish Death Stranding. So
Yeah.
we'll see how I optimize my time. But once again, that's gonna do it for our Jedi Fallen Order discussion. Mike, where can the people find you online if they'd like to find your potential Twitter takes?
You can follow me on Twitter at Mike P. Connors.
Very nice. Jack, what about you?
You can follow me at Fascinated Jack on Twitter.
Very cool. Pat?
At the PMore on Twitter.
Fantastic. We're not going to rank this because, again, only one of us has beaten it. You got our impressions on it so far. But as far as the regular schedule goes, next week is Thanksgiving week. So we will be releasing our Return of the Jedi review back on schedule. The episode after that will be doubling up Mandalorian because of just the way scheduling works out. But after that, we only got 2 more movies.
I know.
Can you believe that?
We're all going to the same showing too. Of
We
Rise
are.
of Skywalker,
Same
right?
theater, bought tickets at different times.
Yeah. I'm a stone's throw away from you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a fun time.
Hell yeah.
How did we not text about this?
I know. I texted after. I was like, oh, hey.
I kind of knew that you guys were buying it on the same day as
Yeah.
I was buying the ones
Yeah.
for us. So
Because when we saw, this is behind the scenes, but when we did Excelsior and we saw Endgame all together, that was like a holy experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I didn't want to invade on you guys, because I know like leading up to that was like such a build up between the 3 of us, I thought.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
like it was real for me. I mean, I know for you guys too, it was a very emotional experience
Oh, yeah.
in the theater.
Weeping.
So I was
Yeah.
literally weeping. So
Yeah, we were talking about that. Like, over under, what are the odds that we're going to be in tears in the first like half hour of Rise of Skywalker?
anytime John Williams plays his theme, which is anytime, I
Yeah.
will be in tears.
oh, so the whole movie.
So the entire
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up. If you want to follow me on Twitter, at Chris M. Buckley, the same as my Instagram. If you enjoyed this episode of the show, you listened to it on podcast services or watched us talk about the game on youtube.com/joyclicks. You should also know that to keep these lights on, we have Patreon. Patreon.com/joyclicks is where you can go to see information about us, our productions, get early access to shows, episodes like this one. You could be listening to this on a Wednesday.
Early.
feeling good on a Wednesday.
yeah.
Or listening to it on a Friday, which no big drama, no matter what you listen to. Just happy you're listening. So that's going to do it for the show. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for talking Fallen Order.
It's been a blast.
Thanks for
Has
having
been.
me.
I'm excited to play more.
Yeah.
So until next time, what are we feeling?
What?
Well, that's a lightsaber.
General Kenobi.